Hey everybody, how's it going? It's LTM
What's
here.
up? How's it going?
And it's Blue Beetle and Grant behind me. We are at the Cinemark right now. We're about to go watch the recent Hunger Games movie. I was going to go see this Friday, but we had so much stuff going on, so we're finally got to go see it.
I was busy.
I am familiar with Hunger Games. You're not familiar, are you?
Somewhat.
I am.
I figured you would be. You're a fan, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, we're going to stop you guys right here, and I'll give you all my thoughts when I come back. And then, of course, Matt Silver will give you his thoughts. This is LTM, and we'll be right back.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. Hey guys, LTM here. I just got home dropping off the guys, and I just got back from watching Hunger Games. Just gonna give you all my quick thoughts on the movie. So, a little bit of a heads up because I didn't talk about this at the beginning. I did grow up with Hunger Games. YA films were kind of a big thing for a while back in the 2010s. I wouldn't say I was a huge fan of most of them per se, but I do remember watching them a lot. Back then you had stuff like Twilight, Divergent, Mortal Instruments, things like that were really popular back in the day. So the one that stuck a lot of people during my generation was The Hunger Games. And with a recent book out and a movie now that this movie's been turned into a movie, we have the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So how does it hold up, or how does it do? It's all right. It's not nearly as good as the trilogy, but the good news is, since this movie is a prequel, you probably don't have to really worry about watching the other movies in order to go see this film. So as a standalone film, it's actually pretty all right. It's not great. It has its problems, but it is what it is. It's another Hunger Games movie. So it's many years before the first film and the other movies. It's kind of complicated describing the plot because there's two separate halves. The first half, you have this guy who's basically like a mentor, and she meets this girl who's a part of the Hunger Games, and basically they start having a connection with each other, and then the girl in the first half ends up winning the Hunger Games. But then there's the second half where he's basically like a military. They're like in this military sort of place, and now he ends up accidentally murdering these two other people and stuff like that. And now he basically has this relationship between him and the girl for the first half of it. It's very complicated. It's a hard movie to follow because there's two separate halves going on. And honestly, you could have made this into two separate movies like Mockingjay, and it wouldn't really matter, honestly. But let's get to the real problem with the movie. I'll go ahead and just get to the problems out of the way. The movie's way too long. It was 2 hours and 45 minutes. It wasn't the longest film I've seen this year, but it's still pretty long and unnecessary. Like I said, this movie did not need to be two and a half hours long. You could have cut some stuff out, or like I said, maybe turn this into a part 1 and part 2 sort of thing like Mockingjay. It didn't need to be this long. The drama, although fine for the most part, isn't as engaging or as good as the other movies. The drama wasn't bad or anything. It's just I didn't feel any really big connections with our main characters or anything. So that's why the drama wasn't as good. And yeah, it's a pretty slow film for the most part. But with that said, the acting's very good. The guy who plays our main character is really fun. It's got some really funny moments, mostly from this host guy, which I forgot the guy who played him. He's really funny. He's the guy that steals the show for me during the first half. There are some funny moments. The action, for the most part, is pretty good. And I will say this, out of all the movies, this has to be the most violent film in the series. Like, watching these kids kill each other and everything like that is just disturbing. And honestly, the kills were actually pretty well done here. Like, there were times where I went, ooh, or ow, well, that's gonna hurt. Yeah. The violence is that brutal in this film. So I'll give it that. Not much I could say about this movie. If you haven't seen the other movies, or if you never read any of the books, you are going to be totally lost in this film. But if you're just someone who just wants to go into the Hunger Games, even as a newcomer, or just someone who wants to just see an action film, this is not a bad time. You might find it a little bit confusing at first, but it might start to grow on you, and you just might see it as just a popcorn flick. Overall score, I give the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes a 7 out of 10. Not the best film in the Hunger Games series, but definitely not a bad one. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just get this out of the way real quick. So, of course, it is the holidays. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. And basically, tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and this weekend we have Wish and Napoleon coming out this weekend, which I'm going to be pretty busy this whole weekend, so I probably won't have time to review those right away. But I will get to them at some point the following week, and we'll see how things go. But I do have an editorial and more AI videos coming up on this channel, so keep on the lookout for that. So what's your favorite Hunger Games movie? I'm really curious. Please subscribe, comment below, let me know. This is LTM, and I'll see y'all later.